Hello there everybody and welcome to Chamberlain's Chamber. I am Michael Chamberlain, and for the past 23 years I have been a professional horse racing announcer and handicapper at various racetracks across the country, including in Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and my current home here in Louisiana. What we're going to do with this, and hopefully some more videos coming up in the future, is discuss some of the big races and some other sporting events hopefully coming up in the future that we'll talk about as far as a handicapping perspective and who I think is going to win certain races, like the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. Now this year, in 2020, the races are in a different order. Normally the Derby is first on the first Saturday in May, the Preakness is 2 weeks later, and the Belmont is 3 weeks after that. However, with the COVID-19 pandemic going on, the entire racing schedule for everybody across the country has been changed, and so the Belmont Stakes is the first race of the Triple Crown Series, and it is Saturday, June 20th. And the other difference is it's not a mile and a half. As you know, the Test of Champions, they usually make one oval of that big sandy at Belmont Park, but not this time. They're going to go 1 1/8 miles, and it's going to be a one-turn race. So it's basically an elongated sprint race, which really changes the character of the Belmont Stakes. Now on our board here we have the 10 horses that are going to be in the race, as well as their odds, their speed figures, and the jockey, trainer, and the number of wins they have at the qualifying distances. What we want to talk about is, first of all, the odds, because Tiz the Law is the 6-5 favorite. Tiz the Law has the Florida Derby winner from Gulfstream Park earlier this year. He also won the Holy Bull down there in Hallandale, Florida, a very deserving 6-5 favorite, and we'll talk about him in just a moment. The second choice in the wagering at 9-2 is Volante, who is breaking from the number 2 post position, and that one is also a winner of the Sam Davis at Tampa Bay, and then was the runner-up in the Tampa Bay Derby, which followed it at Tampa Bay Downs. The third choice is a horse named Dr. Post, who will be breaking in post 9 right alongside Tiz the Law from number 8. Dr. Post is a Todd Pletcher trainee, and we all know Todd Pletcher is one of the best trainers in the business, who has won 2 of his 3 starts in his very brief career. So what we're going to do firstly is talk about the speed. And the way I calculate the speed when it comes to handicapping is I take 5 races at or near the distance that the race in question is going to be at. So the 1 1/8 miles of the Belmont Stakes this time, some of these races vary in distance from 6 furlongs all the way up to the 1 1/8 miles distance. It just depends on the horse's track record and past performances as to what distances they have gone. In the case of the speed in this race, the speed number of Tiz the Law at 99.5, using the Brisnet speed figures, because I use Brisnet past performances, and I do take the average of those 4 of the 5 races. I eliminate the lowest number and use 4 of those 5 races to come up with this speed number of 99.5 for Tiz the Law. That is the best in this field as you look down the line. Volante is second at 99, and then you have Pneumatic here on the outside at 94.33. That average is only because he's only run 3 times, and Dr. Post, 93.67. So of the horses in this race, the 10 horses, those are your 4 best speed numbers. You have a couple of other horses in the 90s, including Modernist and Farmington Road. The other horses in the race, Tap It to Win, Max Player, 4 Left, and Jungle Runner, did not get to that 90 number. As we move along on the board here, we then look at the Jockey and Trainers. The jockey for Tiz the Law is Manny Franco, who has won 20% of his races this calendar year. The Trainer Barkley Tag, you may remember Barkley Tag from the Funny Side crew of 2003 when he won the Derby and the Preakness, and that did not win the Belmont. Funny Side lost the Belmont to Empire Maker in 2003 and therefore was denied the Triple Crown. But Barkley Tag was the trainer of Funny Side, and it's the same trainer and owner. The Sakatoga stable is also the owner of Tiz the Law, so there's a lot of good history with that horse. Also on this list, as I mentioned, Todd Pletcher has Dr. Post and Farmington Road. And Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride Dr. Post. Irad Ortiz is winning 30% of his races during the current season at Belmont. He's the best jockey in the business right now, so that's definitely a point in his favor. Johnny Velasquez is riding Tap It to Win. Luca Panici is on Volante. Joel Rosario is on Max Player. He is having an underrated, very good couple of years here. He has really come into his own and is really doing a fantastic job in the saddle. Junior Alvarado is riding Modernist. Javier Castellano on Farmington Road. If this were a turf race, we'd have Javier Castellano in the mix. Javier is an incredible turf rider. And this one is also the other Pletcher horse we might want to add. So Todd Pletcher has two horses in this race. Jose Ortiz, the brother of Irad, is riding 4 left. Relu Gutierrez is on Jungle Runner, the 50-1 long shot. We mentioned Franco and Ortiz. And Ricardo Santana Jr. is riding Pneumatic for trainer Steve Asmussen. And he always rides Asmussen's top horses. So that's a very good pairing to see on this horse here on the outside. Now I mentioned with the speed that I use 5 races at or near the distance that we're going. 1 1/8. So these are the 5 races in the speed. And also the column for wins here on the end. Tis the Law has 4 victories in those 5 races. Tap It to Win, Sole Volante have 3. Dr. Post and Pneumatic only have 2, but they've only started 3 times. So they still have won 2/3 of their races. So that is a very high percentage when it comes to wins as far as at the distance. So, taking a look at all this information on the board, I think that Tis the Law, as I said, is a deserving 6-5 favorite. Tis the Law is going to be our top pick to win the Belmont Stakes. Tis the Law is the top pick to win, number 8. Our second choice is going to be Dr. Post. I think Dr. Post is really coming into his own. Todd Pletcher is an outstanding trainer, and the addition of and the use of Irad Ortiz Jr. in the saddle is very beneficial. The 2 races that Dr. Post have won, he broke the maiden at Gulfstream Park on March 29th, and then a month later won the Unbridled Stakes, which is an ungraded stakes race, but still at 1 1/16, Dr. Post won that race and did it very nicely. So Dr. Post is our second pick, number 9, and I like the horse to pop at a price here on the outside, Pneumatic, 8-1, and we're going to put him in the 3rd spot, 8, 9, and 10. That Santana Asmussen pairing is very crucial, and another one that has won 2 of 3 races. He won a maiden breaker at Oaklawn Park in February, and then won again in April at Oaklawn Park before running 3rd in the Grade 3 Mat win at Churchill Downs in May. So our Belmont picks, 8, 9, and 10, Tis the Law, Dr. Post, and Pneumatic. The way we're going to bet this race, strategy-wise, we're going to do an exacta box for $1 of 8, 9, and 10. The $1 exacta box costs us $6. And we're also going to do a $1 trifecta box with these 3 horses, 8, 9, and 10. And that will also cost us $6. So it's a $12 bet, and we might as well have a little bit of fun on Saturday with the Belmont Stakes. Tis the Law, Dr. Post, and Pneumatic, our top 3 picks. I do hope you've enjoyed this first video here in Chamberlain's Chamber, and I hope you'll come back and watch more. I'm Michael Chamberlain. Thank you for watching.